Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This video will be about this very important meeting between Putin and Trump tomorrow in Alaska. We will be seeing in some horoscopes, which I'll be sharing with you, whether there will be the new Yalta. You know the Yalta, when after the Second World War they decided how to divide the world on a napkin. So whether there will be new napkin, yes, whether there will be new Yalta, whether there will be peace, I will show you the horoscope of the day. I will show you also the horoscopes of United States, Russia, Trump, and Putin. We can take a look at the horoscope of Ukraine, and we will not look at the horoscope of Zelensky because he's not legally, he's not president. So I don't know if we might be misled by his horoscope, because the horoscope of the president of the country is very decisive for the future of the country, for the economy, just for everything related to the rulership of the country. And when the president is illegal, we may go on the wrong direction. Therefore, I will skip the horoscope of Zelensky. One note also to make: the horoscope of Trump, we are certain it is correct, as we know it from the open sources online. The horoscope of Putin, we are not sure whether the horoscope of Putin is correct. Normally such people, especially people who were spies working in KGB, they wouldn't share openly their horoscopes. We need to be sure about that. Of course, rectifications are possible, but this is another subject. Let's look at the horoscope of the day. It is amazing. Let me share with you. I will share with you some Hermetic knowledge. What Hermes said about specific positions. Very ancient knowledge. Amazing, like ominous for this day. It is like a really historical event. So let's look at the horoscope of the day, and then we'll be seeing the horoscopes that I'm listing. And yes, I just want to invite you to subscribe to my other channel, which is Krasi's Lifestyle. It is not astrological. Of course, I apply astrology to my life, but it is more about farming, gardening, cooking, and whatnot. So the link to my new channel, new couple months, is under this video. So let's go to our astrological work. Let me show you. This is the horoscope of 15th of August. First of all, this is Mother Mary's great day. You know, in Belgium we celebrate it not only in the Christian world. This is amazing, very important day, and I don't believe in coincidences. I believe this is very spiritually very important day, and this event is first decided above, because what is taking place on earth is always decided first above. It is not the other way around. So couple of things are very amazing, ominous. The first one, of course, I want to analyze the conjunction between Jupiter and Venus, which conjunction is taking place together with the star Sirius. I spoke a lot about the star Sirius, and I can speak more. The star Sirius, according to Hermes, he calls it Fortuna. Fortune, Fortuna. It is a star which brings luck. It is a star which, according to one opinion, has the nature of Venus. It is Fortuna. Moreover, the star, I quote Hermetic text, the star brings peace between the kings. This is quotation. I didn't come up with this. It's quotation. This year, like I mentioned in my previous video, the star, as usual, becomes visible for the first time after being hidden in the rays of the sun for quite some time. The star Sirius will become visible around 17th or 18th of August, which is a unique day, but it happens every once a year, so it is not really rare. But what is rare is that this time Sirius will be together with Jupiter and Venus, and this is unique. And for some who say, oh, but Jupiter and Venus for sharing a similar degree or such short distance, this is planetary war. Excuse me, but I would disagree, because I think that the two benefic planets are never in a war. You can see in many horoscopes this conjunction is bringing actually luck and very good qualities to people, conjunction between Jupiter and Venus. So you can see that Jupiter, at the very moment of the meeting between Putin and Trump, will be exactly in the degree of Sirius. Venus will be 2.5 degrees further. So this is pretty good conjunction. So the two stars are forming conjunction right in the degree of Sirius. And this is a star which, like I told you, I'm quoting Hermes, brings peace between the kings, and Jupiter and Venus also do that. So this is one hope we have, that this particular conjunction on the sky may mean peace, an end of the war. And I told you, when Mars completes his cycle, the war theater will be finalizing, and Mars is completing at the very same moment his cycle. And let me tell you how. Now, first of all, one quote, I want to, just one bracket I want to open to tell you 2 words about the heliacal phases of the planet, something that I've been saying previously too. When a planet is becoming invisible or visible, that's why we call it heliacal phases, because it means according to Helios, the sun. So when a planet comes too close to the sun, every planet has different distances, different degrees, which gives this planet invisibility or first visibility. So when the planet becomes in a certain proximity to the sun, the planet becomes invisible. But what is the key here? That this 7 days before the planet hides and becomes really invisible, this means this cycle has already started. So you see, Mars will become invisible on the 22nd, and on the 15th, Mars is entering the phase of becoming invisible. So it is the 7 days before he disappears. Practically, he is in his phase of becoming invisible. And Mars is the one who is triggering the wars. Like I mentioned previously, he's not causing the wars, but he's triggering them. He's the weapon. He's the weapon. The others decide on the war, and Mars is the weapon. Mars, at the moment of their discussion in Alaska, Mars is starting his new phase of becoming invisible. Mars, when he becomes invisible, he's closing a cycle. He's ending a cycle. So this ending a cycle between of Mars is like ending a certain. He's ending like what he actually meant, and he meant war. And I told you, when he becomes visible in Scorpio, like he did. This happened previously. Let me not go back to this, but he always shows how the peace on the planet will look like. How also, of course, depends on when he appears for the first time. When he disappears, what he's taking with himself. He's disappearing in Virgo. Virgo is not a sign of war, certainly not. It's an earth sign and it has nothing to do with war. Even I believe Mars, when he will be in Virgo, he will be quiet, calmed down in this energy of earth, of not only that energy of peace, if you want, because of the nature of Virgo. This is the virgin woman. Is she having a weapon to fight? No. She's a virgin woman on the sky. She's busy with knowledge. She's busy with astrology. She has the wit, the speaker started with, she's busy with writing, with poetry, with negotiations, but absolutely not busy with war. So Mars in Virgo is far from war. And he's starting a cycle of closure of what he means. Of course, he is not forever peaceful and quiet, because unfortunately in the summer of 2026 he becomes visible for the first time in Aries. This worries me a little bit, because the Aries nature of Mars, like he comes with new potentials, martial art qualities. He comes maybe to fight. So but now you see the two peace-bringing planets, Jupiter and Venus, are together. They are together with Sirius, which is the star, which also means peace between the kings. And I'm not saying that Hermes is saying that. And let me tell you, since I told you about the heliacal phases of the planets, Sirius is also in a phase of how many days? Not even 7, 3 days before his first visibility, 2 or 3, because always he becomes visible around 17th, 18th, 19th. I'm starting to watch him after the 17th. So he is also preparing to become visible. He's also so active, like Mars is active to disappear, Sirius is active to appear. So this is very amazing. Like the weapons are being, Mars is collecting his weapons to hide them, and Sirius is coming to shine, and with his amazing friends Jupiter and Venus. So to me, this is quite promising sign. Is this absolutely like very harmoniously happening, or happening without any disharmony during this event? I am not very sure, because yes, Jupiter and Venus are beautiful with Sirius, of course, but there is a wide square, and this happening with Saturn and Neptune, and this we have to notice, and we have to take into consideration, because still this is aspect which is not very harmonious. What gives me hope is that they are retrograde, so they're not so much watching after or looking towards Venus and Jupiter. So if there would be some events, like how to say it, if there would be certain people trying to interfere, they may not manage, because the two planets which may bring this harmony, Saturn and Neptune, in this very day are retrograde, so they don't really make exact aspect on the first place. Secondly, they are not so much watching towards Jupiter and Venus, and also the other planet which is forming a square, Mars, is becoming visible. Not so much, like when he becomes visible, he's not so much busy. He doesn't give so much attention on the war at this point of time. So to me, this is promising. Now, when we know that eventually this may mean some peaceful results, which are decided above, certainly, because we cannot be naive. We know that everything is first happening on the sky and later is happening on Earth. So we have to see, for more details, the horoscopes of the countries, and I will be sharing my screen with you now. Let's start with the horoscope of Ukraine to see what is the future of Ukraine. there are many ways to look at that. We can look at progress horoscope of the country, but I did it. I did it last December or November when I was looking at many countries. Now we're looking at the horoscope according to this unique day, 15th of August. Look, this conjunction between Jupiter and Venus is happening right, of course, with Sirius right on the descendant axis. And the descendant in the mundane astrology of the countries, is about the visible enemies or the neighboring countries. In this case, Jupiter and Venus are conjoining, and they are more beneficial not for the country, they are beneficial for the visible enemies or for the neighbors. So this conjunction is not helping Ukraine, really not helping Ukraine. So tomorrow I don't see any particular benefit for Ukraine. In addition, you see the Rahu Ketu are, the two lunar nodes are with the Sun, a solar axis which is 39 houses, and this will be darkened. It was darkened one time in March, and it will be darkened now also in September, and this is not a very good sign. Also, in addition, and I don't know how good this would be, the first appearance of the moon for the month of August, when this event is taking place, took place on the sun of Ukraine. It's more like eclipse happening, invisible. It is not so benevolent for the country. So, like they don't have enough power. Mars is, look what is happening. Mars becomes invisible right when they have their natal Mars to reappear on their 5th house. So Mars becomes invisible. This is closure of cycle of rulership. Could be that Zelensky now will not be able to continue. And maybe he knows it, because everyone is sharing this funny video in every media, how he took drugs and what he was sniffing with his nose and doing these strange faces. I think he maybe intuitively knows that. I don't know. But in any case, look where Mars disappears, on the 10th house, where their king is sitting, and the sun is darkened. So I don't know, but this is not fun for their so-called president, because he's not a legitimate president anymore. So this is about Ukraine. It is the country will be weakened, and the conjunction is shining for the neighbors. It is not shining for them. And I really feel sorry for the people, because I see how unfortunately this is for people in Ukraine, because I saw movies on the streets, how they're pulling, how specific this is, police or other forces which are taking men from the streets and pulling them to I don't know what, to trucks, to bring them to the war field. It's unbelievable. It's so unfair. So but the country will be more weakened, and certainly others will be deciding on the destiny of Ukraine. So let's see further. Let's see now the horoscope of the States and Donald Trump. We're looking at the horoscope of Donald Trump. The first lunar crescent, the first appearance of the moon took place on the 3rd degree Leo. This is conjoined his Mars. This is very interesting, and whether this is beneficial for him, most probably it is, because you see Jupiter and Venus are conjoining on Sirius in his 11th house. This is good for his social appearance. So during these negotiations, we don't know, of course, what is happening behind the scene, especially when Mars is hiding. So could be that they have already decided, or they are in the process of deciding behind the public's backs on the future of Ukraine, but Donald Trump will appear like lucky, like winning, because Jupiter and Venus will conjoin his great Mercury, because he has Mercury in a very powerful heliacal phase and visible and on a throne in Gemini. So this is quite good, and also this will clear out his image, because Jupiter and Venus will be in the vicinity of his natal Saturn. So this is somehow fine for him. You see, this is this assembly in Alaska gives him power somehow, like he will have the word there. And we'll see whose chart is more powerful. Of course, when we look at the horoscope of Putin, I will tell you, I doubt that he ever said publicly shared with people his birth details, but many Russian media, also astrologers, are certain that this horoscope is correct, which I will show you in a moment. So for sure, for Trump, the day doesn't seem to be bad. Also, the moon with his Mars is certainly even giving power to his ascendant, gives him some new clearing out of his image. So let's check the horoscope of America, and then we'll look at Russia and Putin. See, this is the horoscope of United States. This particular conjunction Jupiter-Venus, see, this is not bad, because look, the horoscope of the States has already Jupiter-Venus conjunction, and the Sun is conjoined Sirius. And you know, we spoke many times before, the horoscope of America was created by the great astrologers. This is a very smart horoscope. First, it is made on the heliacal rise of Aldebaran, the star of money and power. The Sun is conjoined Sirius, and this is also amazing. And then they use the very same Jupiter-Venus conjunction which we have now. And when you have repetition of powerful aspect in someone's horoscope, then the horoscope receives additional power, or the event will be repeated. And in this case, this is quite benevolent for the States. In addition, Mars is disappearing in Virgo, where Saturn is. So this I see also as something benevolent. So also this is happening on the 8th house. You see, 8th house of the horoscope, and the 8th house is associated with finances which can be generated from like our profits, which can be generated, see, from your neighbor or enemy or neighboring country, or your partner, if there will be really partnership when the two countries, the two leaders will meet. But in any case, you have repetition of Jupiter-Venus conjunction, and America already has Sun in Sirius. So yes, the Sun is burning Sirius, but Sun and Sirius are not enemies, because I will remind to you, when we complete eventually our evolution, the growth of our consciousness and souls in the solar system, our next lifetime cycles eventually will be on Sirius, which is the sun of the universe. So there is no such thing as conflict between the sun and Sirius. So this is very well calculated. The people who made the horoscope of America are smart astrologers and people with esoteric minds. So America will have some benefit from this particular deal, which is about to happen very soon, tomorrow. This is the horoscope of Russia. Another very interesting thing, you see, Jupiter is conjoined Sirius in the horoscope of Russia. So Jupiter Venus will conjoin the Jupiter in the horoscope of Russia, and Jupiter is in a phase of disappearance. This is a little bit weakening Jupiter. Then Mars, the disappearance of Mars is in opposition of Mars of Russia. In addition of Mars. In addition, Neptune and Saturn are conjoining Mars. I see this horoscope and I speak about the moment, not the horoscope in general, but the moment, the momentary picture of tomorrow, 15th of August, is a little bit less benevolent for the horoscope of Russia, and horoscope of the United States has more, will be having more interest from this appointment that they will have tomorrow. Maybe whether we see this immediately, I don't know, but certainly we will be seeing this developing and showing up slowly, because the first appearance also of the moon for the month of August took place in the 12th house of Russia. And the 12th house are enemies. So there is something more benevolent for the enemies than I think that in any case Ukraine is absolutely already not belonging to herself. Ukraine is a country which is totally occupied by enemies, of course, and I don't mean Russia here. I mean there are powers which are we don't understand very well 100% the agenda of these people. Therefore, I think Russia will be in a little bit weaker position during this meeting. I don't mean in general. Russia is winning the war. For this we need to be clear. Ukraine has already lost. Whether they announce it or not doesn't matter. Ukraine, you saw what is happening on the horoscope of the country. This is the country will have soon another horoscope. This horoscope is expired. Let me say it this way. And now what we see is the two will meet. Whether they do New Yalta, maybe. Who have a little bit more interest in this? I see America a little bit more powerful in this particular situation. Maybe this is destined. I don't know, but everything is destined. So this is when I'm showing you the horoscopes, and maybe you see it yourselves, because you see also let's not forget Uranus is in Taurus, and soon in about 4 years Uranus will conjoin the sun in the horoscope of Russia, and this could also mean a change of leadership or something may happen, but this is for many years after. But I mean now, yes, they're lucky to have Jupiter also in Gemini conjoined Sirius, but there is affliction from Mars. Mars in the 7th house always shows potential dangers from neighboring countries, always. And now Saturn and Neptune are also here. So I imagine that this will show up like there could be activation of the other enemies, neighboring enemies like Armenia, Azerbaijan. This part of the world can be activated also against Russia. Very, very possibly with and I mentioned this when I was making my annual analysis for Russia in November, December somewhere, that they may have issues with betrayals or activation of enemies, and especially when we have now the disappearance of Mars, this game can go more behind the scenes. But let me see also the horoscope of Putin, and I'll share you my screen. Hopefully it's the correct one. I really hope so. And this is the horoscope of Putin. Why this is a bit less benevolent, I would tell you, because you see, Mars is disappearing right on his Venus, which is his ascendant ruler, and Venus is in his 12th house. This is very normal for people who work for the secret services. You know, he was KGB, high-level spy and agent. So this is very normal placement, typical for such works. This is normal. But also, this conjunction between Jupiter and Venus on his 9th house, yes, this is creating harmonious aspect to the ascendant, but it is not on such significant and ominous, if you want, place as it is in the horoscopes of Trump and the States. So this I see is a little bit weaker. It is still good because Jupiter-Venus conjoining his Uranus, which is ruling his 5th house, which is the house of good fortune, house of gains and luck. So Jupiter and Venus will bring him luck too. But if we have to compare who will be a bit luckier, it will be Trump. Like maybe Russia will need to give up something during these negotiations. Maybe this chart is not bad because Uranus is ruling lucky place in his chart. That Uranus is lucky for him. It's creating protection and trine. This is very good. And Jupiter and Venus conjoining his Uranus and Sirius is also fine, and it's lucky, and it shows something very good and gain happening abroad, and this is what it is. But if I have to compare, maybe one idea more lucky is the chart of Trump for this particular situation, not in general, because the degree of the ascendant, if this is the correct ascendant of Putin, is quite lucky. So he is also extremely smart with exalted Mercury, visible. This is quite a rare, interesting placement. So if this is the horoscope, I believe this is the picture, the way I mention it to you. Let's see what will happen. But again, what will happen is very possibly some peaceful agreements, very, very possibly, and this is also typical for the completion of 2 cycles of Mars. You will notice for the world, the wars usually take 2 cycles of Mars, 3.5 to 4 years, because 1 cycle of Mars is 15-17 months, 2 cycles of Mars. So this is the finalizing of the 2nd cycle of Mars. Therefore, only this is showing completion, and I've been repeating this for quite some time. So whether the peace will be seen immediately or it will be a process of finalizing until June of 2026, we will see. But we have very good possibility of starting a process of already finalizing. To me, Zelensky, whose horoscope I don't want to see, this would be a big honor to make for him, and I don't want to give him this pleasure and honor, because I saw him, sniffing on the television. This was really very ugly. So, very malefic situation for Ukraine, very difficult for Zelensky. I believe Ukraine already has or will have any moment new horoscopes, so maybe even the horoscope that we're looking at is not valid anymore, because there are some historical events there which are very major that always give the countries new horoscopes. And to me, could be that Ukraine needs to have, maybe there is event which they're hiding, which we don't know, which will show that Ukraine has a new horoscope. I have event in mind, but I don't want to say it yet, because I will be accused in conspiracy. But maybe at later stage I will tell you. So to me, Ukraine is absolutely gone. They will divide Ukraine, and Russia may need to make small compromises, but again, I will be much more certain if I am certain that the horoscope of Putin is this one. So let's see what is going on tomorrow. But the good news is Jupiter-Venus conjoining the great star, which brings peace between kings, is already good news that could be bringing peace. So ladies and gentlemen, this was from me. I hope this was interesting. Don't forget to watch Sirius. Maybe you would like to look at my new talismans, which I uploaded for Sirius. I will be all of them I will be consecrating at the night or 4:30 in the morning. I will make my consecration ritual on the 18th, when I will be seeing Sirius. If I miss and if I don't see Sirius, because sometimes the weather is cloudy, then I do it the day after. I do it until I see him. I really, yeah, it's a pleasure. So I really watch Sirius. If you need peace, especially in your families, if you need luck, blessing from such divine divinities which occupy this the sun of the universe place, then certainly do watch Sirius, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.